That's us now recording. So welcome to the Basic Bikers YouTube channel. It's Mark, the AyrshireVlogster. I'm here with Chris, ThrottleDaft. Also our guests tonight are Anna, Mo and Claire. We'll delve a wee bit deeper into they three shortly. So this is our second podcast. We've done a podcast with Jill and Gillian a couple of weeks ago, which is now live in the channel. So you can check that. I'll put a link to that in the description. But basically, welcome, Anna, Mo and Claire. How are you?
Good.
Very good, thank you.
Good.
Awesome,
Mo?
thanks.
Yeah.
You?
Hi, absolutely fine. How are you tonight,
Good.
Chris?
All good, mate. I was at the bike today, so happy days for me.
How was that? Take us through it, because none of us have been out on a bike.
It was chilly. The hands were nippy, but it actually wasn't too bad. There's been worse days.
Take it was his head. Been
Obviously, I stripped it down there and made sure that everything was tickety-boo. Just a wee down to Ayr and back. Nothing major.
So, was it like you're a celebrity? Was people wanting pictures with you and that with a bike?
People were just looking at me and saying, "What the fuck is he doing out in this weather, clown?"
So what you mean to say is you just drove round the block and that was it, and back came and parked it up?
I did.
No, it's got pictures up.
I did see it. I'm probably about 50 miles or something on.
Aye, what we're drinking? I keep forgetting to do this. Vodka?
Coffee.
Coffee?
Tea.
Tea? Mo?
Kraken and Coke.
Hey, there you go.
Pits hairs on your chest.
That sounded like crack and coke, as she just said.
No, that's wishful thinking.
All right.
So what you've all been up to? Anything
Lockdown?
special?
Not a lot.
Lockdown?
No.
No?
I went
Been
walking.
furloughed.
Yep.
Aye. Nothing exciting,
I'm
I'm
not
afraid.
That
No.
was a
Furloughed
a
to
question last
motorbikes,
week.
but no other job. Yep.
So who is furloughed here? Apart from me?
Me.
Claire? Mo? You furloughed?
No.
No?
No. I can't obviously do the bikes just now, as Anna's just said, but I'm not furloughed. So
Cool. And Chris, you're still digging holes?
So we are as
He's the essential hole digger for Scotland.
Is it?
Like I have to make sure that we Mrs. White gets a £400,000 house in this pandemic because it's so essential that she gets it.
Oh. Right.
She clearly needs it.
Necessary stuff.
We've probably sold, I don't know, 60 houses in maybe the past 3.5 months, and fate knows where people are getting the money for if everybody's furloughed, nobody's working.
How the other half live, eh?
Minimum £350,000 houses up to just under just half a mil.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, crazy.
Obviously, they're essential workers and keep working.
Yes, and so am I. Keep me.
I could work 5 jobs and I wouldn't be able to afford a 350 grand house. I already do 2 jobs, so I'd need to do a lot more. Put it that way.
Oh,
Definitely. So you want to crack on with introductions, or you's okay, aye? You're off a quiet, by the way.
Offer quiet considering this came.
Well, we're trying not to talk. We're trying not to talk over the top of each other. Because yesterday we were all kind of firing in at the same time, so we've made a conscious
We
decision.
don't want to give you headaches again.
I think that will just happen. Full stop.
Probably.
We were just luring you into a false sense of security. That's all it is.
Because last
The calm before the storm.
Just so everybody knows, when we kind of, I think Chris done most of the work with Claire to try and get you guys involved. I don't know how it worked, but when the three of them agreed, when Anna, Mo and Claire agreed, they had a video call with me. Now, I'd never met them, had never seen them, never knew who they were, but they'd done a group video call with me, and it was one of the worst nights of my life.
Stop lying. It was one of the
Sweat
best
was
nights of your
loved
life.
You
Sweat
loved
was
it.
lashing off me.
Mark, it's really funny you say that because I actually recall that you've asked us to do this again. So
Every Saturday night, whether you're broadcasting or not.
Right.
you know.
Definitely said it was a regular thing.
Oh, here we go. That's going to start all kinds of.
It's funny that you just say that because I remember that night and he phoned me and says, "That's one of the best nights of my life."
Tell you. Tell you.
You can't beat a thruple. That's what we come as. All three.
Yep. Yep.
Charlie's Angels.
Yep. And we've got
Dumb, Dumb and Dumber.
By the way,
The good, the bad, and the fucking ugly.
I've got one even better than that. For everybody, stay tuned later because we're talking about 3-ups.
We are.
We are. Yeah.
With photographs as well, so it's worth sticking.
Interesting.
That comes later.
In my head, the 3-up wasn't what they were going to show us.
Aye, if that's no clickbait, I don't know what is.
Correct, aye.
Might use that bit there as a teaser trailer for before I launch it.
Aye, definitely.
Do it. Do it.
So, whose preference is it to go first to tell us a wee bit about yourselves?
Well, Anna never shuts up, so we was all letting her start.
Oh.
I'm hurt deeply.
No, you are not lying.
No, I'm no. My one feeling fucked off years ago, so.
Aye, and that was hunger.
Okay.
Do you know the thing is, he's got your card marked, eh? Ooh.
I can. I'm a bit of a gab. Aye. I love myself. I get overexcited when there's people.
You can take it away,
What?
Anna.
Anna, see before
Right.
you start.
What?
Anna, whose face is that behind you in the glass?
Do
At the
not
door?
say there's a face. I say myself, there is no face.
Have a look.
There is no face.
Damn it.
There can't
Right,
be
on
a
you go.
face.
It's the man without the face.
Man,
Scott.
any face came in here.
Scott got Jella cracking with that last time, so right, on you go.
Oh, you
Didn't
said
work.
on the stairs. Yeah, no, it'll not work with me. Okay, I'm Anna. I've had my bike license for 26 years. I've been an instructor for over 20 years. We'll just leave it at that.
Cool.
I do 2 jobs. I do part-time bike instructing and I work for a letting agents. Did full-time bike instructing for 15 years and then went part-time roughly 8 years.
Too old for it.
Something like that. That's me.
Can you ride for
I've got an Africa twin that I've never ridden yet.
I see with that we're going to ask that later, but since you brought it up,
Let's
What, the Starship Enterprise?
The Decepticon.
That's a long story, but basically I was after an Africa twin. This one turned up in Nottingham at the right price, 270 mile on it. They delivered it and it's been shit weather ever since. It's sitting in the garage. I've not used it yet. I've never test drove it. I've no ridden an Africa twin in my puff. I've got not a fucking clue if I'm going to like it or not.
what did
Well,
you
It's a
have?
Honda, you'll be fine.
What did
I
you
know.
have?
I had a V-Strom before, so I'm used to adventure bikes. I've had a few adventure bikes, so
Very few,
it's just
everybody.
another adventure bike. Eh?
But
A few. I've had loads of bikes now.
A few, everyone.
what's the seat height to your Africa twin?
Where have we gone with this? It's on the low seat.
It's a very high bike.
Yeah, it's a big bike. Yep.
I've had a few very big bikes. You slide off
Good.
the seat. You just need one foot down. You're fine.
No,
If you're a short arse, you're a short arse. You get used to it. You just adapt.
You've just got to get used. You have to be stubborn and slide off the seat. That works.
I was just wondering, it's not a bike. I'm a short ass. I'm only like 5'8". It's not a bike I would jump on.
You're 5'8".
You're a lot taller than me.
It's huge. That's huge.
And I'm 5'7".
I'm 5'4". 5'4".
Really?
5'4" and an African twin.
We need to get a bike.
I had the 1200 GS and I managed that, so I'll manage an Africa twin. That's a lot lighter.
You've had a 1200 GS
Huh?
at 5'4", no issues.
See, if you help her try and move it as well, she'll break your fingers where you stand.
No, you didn't get to touch my bike.
Well, I think we all feel that way about our bikes. I mean,
no, I can move my bike all on my own. I don't need nobody to touch it.
I've got a good sticker for that. Do you know on your petrol tank right in front of you, you've got a warning sticker, obviously make sure you put in unleaded. Well, my bike went away and got stripped, that sticker came off, and I bought a sticker. In fact, give me a second. I've actually got some spares.
Have you got 3 spare?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Nania is like anybody touching her bike.
Oh, you'll like this sticker then. This is straight to the point sticker.
I always take these stickers off. I didn't leave them on anyway.
See, I'm planning on taking mine off, but it's awfully sticky.
Sticky stuff remover.
So,
Aye, but it's thick sticky. No, thick sticky.
Don't know what. So, I don't know if you want to read that.
Yep, mate, that's fine.
Oh, I'd need my specs.
It says, polite notice, touch my fucking bike and I will rip off your balls and nail them to your forehead.
Thank you.
Oh.
That is now the replacement of
But it might be a woman. It might be a woman that touches your bike.
That's alright, that's allowed.
Still rip her balls off.
She might have bigger balls than me and I'll leave it alone. Anyway, so we'll let Mo, when you go, Mo, you do your intro.
Okay, I'm Mo. Pleased to meet you all. I've been riding bikes since I was 19. Not a day over 21, so obviously you can do the maths.
Oh,
that was close.
What are you laughing at? I've even got a picture of my bike. I sent it through.
21's plus the VAT, maybe. Twice.
Okay.
Double that.
Okay, so I've been riding bikes for 22 years. I've got a ZX6 in blue. Prefer it in the green. I know there are a lot of green die-hard fans out there, but blue. Yep, blue for me. What else do you want to know?
Your job?
My job. Well, obviously I'm a part-time motorbike instructor. Can't quite do that at the moment with the way that things are. And I'm currently temping for a company that works in oil and gas.
Nice.
So there you go.
Short and
Got quite a... Aye. What else is there to know?
That's it. You said it all, Mo. Said it all.
Right, no bother.
Right, Bear, your turn.
Right, Claire, go for it.
I'm Claire, or Wee Bear, as everybody likes to call me. I passed my test a year ago. I've got an NC750S and I work in a motorbike gear shop. That's it. It's as exciting as it gets. I'm furloughed at the moment, so I sit about doing fuck all most of the day.
Oh no, you do at home learning, Claire. You are at home
homeschooling,
learning.
by the way. Oh.
How long have you had your license, Claire?
A year.
A year.
I used to ride crossers. Like, I've been on quads and trikes and crossers since I was like 5. Long story, ended up losing my dad on his bike before I'd sat my test. So it put me off, and then life got in the way, and then it just got to the point I was like, nah, fuck this. I need to do it. I'm doing it. Nothing's got to stop me. And then I actually messaged Anna because I'm Anna's son's best pal. So I've known Anna for what, 22 years? 25 years? 25 years nearly?
A long time.
A long time. So I messaged Anna and I was like, look, this needs to happen. Are you got to teach me? The rest is history.
When she turned around to her son and went, I don't fucking really want to, but I suppose I'll.
Oh, he doesn't like motorbikes. He didn't want her to do it.
All right.
No.
Did he know?
No.
He never told me that.
No.
So have you ended up with NC because that's what you learned on? The 750? No.
I learned on a CB 650R, and I this NC 750S, right? I was really amazed at the fact that it's got a frunk.
Yes, and it's so big.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well, I can get my helmet.
It's got a big frunk.
It's got a big front.
Get my helmet in my frunk. I can get my helmet in it, but I've got a wee boy as well. He's 10 and he loves out on the bike. So the fact that I can drop him at school, then fuck his helmet in the frunk, and then just go back and get him.
Mm-hmm.
His helmet's there. I don't have to worry about it, strapping it to anything. It's handy, but I do have regrets about it. It's too sensible.
Aye, power-wise, do you mean?
No, it's torquey and it's quick enough for for what you need it. It gets there. Like there's nothing wrong with the power or the torque. It's just ordinary.
So that's the one I learned on.
Look at the wee face.
NC 750.
Look at the wee face.
They
can't use the NC 750s anymore. They don't make the power for the Mod 1.
Right.
They don't do the acceleration for Mod 1, so they had to stop using NC 750. And I don't like them. That's why I had my accident on them, so I don't like them. Sorry?
They're not the best bike, but they're certainly not the worst.
No.
See, that's
no, it's a Honda. It can't be bad.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just...
Does it float your boat anymore?
No.
What does?
That's a good question, actually. What does? Here we go.
We're talking about bike where this goes south.
Listen, it was you that said it, not anybody else.
Aye, that's why I just had to clarify it, though.
We know what yous are like. You want an R6?
I want an R6.
She wants an R6.
Well, it'll not be a new one because they're no longer available.
They've stopped, didn't they? Track only for 2020 is the last one, isn't it?
Yep.
Why?
I want an R6.
Okay. Good bike.
Yeah.
No, plenty of people with one. Aye. R6, for example. R6 Monkey. Aye,
Do you know anybody that's wanting to swap one for an NC 750S? Banging bike, by the way. Absolute fucking banging bike.
I think you might struggle with that swap. I'm not too sure, but you never know.
You'll get one, Claire. You'll get one.
I will get one. I'll get one. I will get one.
You would probably sell that NC 750 quicker than you'd sell an R6, actually. I think it'd be a popular bike to sell. If that's what you are looking to do.
It's brand new as well.
Is it?
I tell you what, guys. Let's see your selling skills.
Selling an NC 750.
Anybody that wants an NC 750.
I know a few
Comment
people.
Comment down below.
So I do.
I did know someone with one, but he swapped it for a Gixxer 600 K5.
Here we go, just to make Claire feel better. Cheers for that, Chris.
No, like, I get it. Like, I didn't feel bad about it. It is what it is. I mean, I made a mistake. Well, I didn't make a mistake, as I said. The bike's a good bike. It's brilliant, and it's just a bit ordinary.
It doesn't have the je ne sais quoi.
Aye.
Quoi.
Aye. That's it. The va voom.
You ride?
The va boom. Here we go, man.
Snee-va-va-boom.
Mo, what is it?
I think it's all right. I drove it. I rode it. I thought it was all right. Does the
What
job.
bike do you have?
It's alright.
Yes.
I have the ZX6.
I've had one of them.
Just the 6 or the 6R?
Well, the 6R, ZX6R. Yeah.
What year's that?
05.
That's what I had, and I fucking hated it, and only had it 2 months and got rid of it.
I've got to be honest and say, I do like my Kawasaki's. I can't say that I didn't like anything else out there. Do you know what I mean? Because that would be unfair. Because I have had shots on bikes and I thought, oh, it's a cracking bike. That it's just, I don't know. I've just been around Kawasaki's. I had.
Right, wee second.
Oh, it's his daughter. Must be his daughter.
No
Carry
bother.
on, Mo. Carry on, Mo.
So I had the ZX6 F2 model. Absolutely loved it. Sold it and bought the 7R. Absolutely loved it, but it was such a tall bike for me. Driving it, no problem, but I looked like a wee kid that had stole it. And trying to push it, if it was a slight incline, was not a good look. So I sold it, got an ER 650, absolutely hated it. Sold that, was out without a bike for a wee while, and then this one came up and bought it. I do really like it. I wouldn't say I like it as much as my F2 model, but I do really like it, and I always fancied a BH1 model. So that's what I've got.
When I passed, my first bike was an S-Rad 750 Suzuki GSXR. Great bike, loved it. Power band and everything was, let's just say, I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing in it, and I could have came a cropper. It was my first year. So then I bought a ZX6R. It was a J1 model in 2000.
Right. Okay.
And for 6 months I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And then
really,
but I wasn't riding the bike right. In the last 6 months, as I get more and more used to the bike and keeping it up and high up in the revs, and I hated changing gears. It was non-stop up and down like a yo-yo. Compared to the S-Rad, there was a big difference. And I actually loved the bike towards the end when I got rid of the bike, but I was going for a sports bike to the FZ1N, which is a naked bike, so there was a purpose in me changing, but I was sad to see it go. I fell in love with it towards the end, and a ZX6R, I've done a couple of videos on it on the channel and that. No, I'd recommend it to anybody. Whether it's a first bike, it doesn't matter to me. It's an absolute fabulous bike. Whereas Chris, on the other hand, absolutely hated his 636. He just hated it.
But what the 636 has got to go down in history as the best ninja that's been ever created, though, isn't it? Like you can't deny that.
Well, Chris didn't like it, so I don't know why.
I had two ninjas. I liked them. I liked both of mine, but they were older. I had a 95 and a 98, and they were alright.
What was it you didn't like about your 636, Chris?
Do you know it's just one of those things you sit on a bike and see a 40 of it, isn't it? And it was just this, I've wanted one for years, 3-4 years. I wanted one, and I ended up trading. I had a Daytona 955, and I ended up trading in and bought the 636. It was a champagne colour. Came up, rode it for 2 months, and I just didn't deal with it at all. I just hated it, if I'm honest. So I ended up trading it, and then
I think you'd hyped it up that much that you were just disappointed.
I wanted one for so long. I got it. It just wasn't. Although again, I went for a Daytona 955 down to the 636. I don't know if that was maybe a factor. But it's just no, I just didn't deal with it. I just hated it. So within 2 months it was away, and that's when I bought the Z for the Z3, the Z1000 3 years now, and I'll never part with it for love nor money. I don't know. I don't really know what it was.
I don't know. I guess the thing is, you know, you like what you like, and sometimes it is a bit of trial and error, eh? Do you know what I mean? I do really like my ZX6R, the BH1 model. I do like it. I did prefer the F2 model, I have to be honest. I don't know why, I can't answer that, but I just really liked it a lot more, eh?
I preferred my 600F 2005 model, the F1. I preferred that much more than the 636, even though the 636 had more power. It was just dead talking, it was more comfortable. But I was always sports bikes until I got the Z. And I just couldn't see, I put a lot into the Z, but I just couldn't see myself ever selling it. I love it.
Yeah.
But I've also got a Fireblade, which is also the 954, which was only made for the year. It was a 2003 model. And that, in history, is the best Fireblade ever made, because it was only made for the year.
Did you get out in that much?
I probably looked at them for nearly 4 or 5 years and saw someone that had done decent mileage and been looked after. It took me a while to find one. But the July right through, pretty much the Z pretty much was parked up and I went out in the blade for the rest of the year.
Do you want to move on to the questions? Start going through the questions. No?
Let's go.
There's good questions.
Nah, there is. So first question. The Hugh 63, that was one of the gel that was on a couple of weeks ago. As female instructors, do you face any challenges within your profession? And this question is aimed towards other people in the motorcycle training industry as well as students. So both for all directions, is it for other instructors? Is it students? Have you had to face any challenges?
Mo, do you want to go first or do you want me to go?
Who wants to go first? That was a big gap there, silence.
I think from my perspective, you know, a lot of people think I look younger than I am, and I've had a few students approach me and say, so how long have you been riding bikes then? So, you know, sorely I'm tempted to turn around and say, well, I've only been past a week, they've given me a badge, and well, let's see how it goes the day. You know. So I think, you know, it's difficult because I haven't sort of faced any other challenges from, you know, like professional instructors, but more so students, because they look at you and they sort of think, oh, how long's she been riding bikes then? Just because you look at maybe a particular way, or... But I can't say I've noticed anything else specifically. What about you, Anna?
I think because I started way back, so when I first started, I think there was only 3 years in Scotland. And I had students, male students, who went to my boss and said they wouldn't be taught by a female. Didn't give me her. I didn't want to be. I want a proper instructor. And my boss was really good because he'd go, well, that's your choice. She is a proper instructor. She's qualified, so you can go home and we'll keep your money, or you can get her. I've had the odd one that's faced you up, especially if you go on a road ride and you're getting them around. I've had them pull into the side of the road and want to punch my face in.
Have you?
Oh, aye. They just, I'm fucking sick of you telling me to do a lifesaver. Don't know. Aye, students can be challenging. The industry themselves, I've never had much problems from other instructors. No.
Because you're terrifying.
I am. Students have had challenges with, but no other instructors. No.
I mean, it's not like she's the most competitive person we know, is it, Claire?
Oh no, because that's you, Morag.
No, not me. Just having been past my test for a week.
Morag is literally the most competitive person you will ever meet, ever.
No.
In your life.
I've never seen anything like it. In your whole life. We've got a pool table at work and she will not let you leave the room unless she beats you. If you win, you're not allowed, she locks you in, you're not allowed to leave. You've got to, and you're not allowed to let her win.
How many times we played, Anna?
Hundreds.
How many times you won, Anna?
Here we go.
See, this is never ending. This goes on all day, every day.
I've won twice.
It's strange that you've had been challenged and people not wanting to be taught by you, because in Ayrshire, probably the biggest riding school in Ayrshire is a female. So it is.
Yeah,
Aye, that's true. Aye, that's
Pauline, she qualified about the same time as me. The lassie for Stirling, I can never mind her name. I want to say Sheila, but it's no. Cameron bike training, she was the first woman in Scotland to qualify. She doesn't teach anymore. And then Pauline and me, I think, were within a couple of months of each other.
She's massive down here, so she is.
Aye,
People only go elsewhere. They'll only go to Pauline. If they have to wait, they won't wait for her. Her pass rate's up there compared to, I think there's three other schools down here, and her pass rate's just so far beyond.
No, she gets a good. I know a few instructors that have worked for her part time, other lassies that have worked for her, and she's really easy to get on with. I've never met her myself, but she does. She gets a really good reputation. Really good reputation.
Aye, she's good. I've been out with her man Gus, and they're making me bonkers when they don't have on their training vests. That's for sure.
That's terrible.
I love the fact that there's summer holidays to the Isle of Man for 2 weeks every year. I love that.
For the TT.
Yeah.
Dedication.
Every single
Living the
year,
dream.
she shuts her school.
I would love to go to the TT.
Let's not go there, right? Because we've had it cancelled the past 3 years now.
I would love to go.
I must admit, I can't say about the TT. I'd love to go to the TT, but I did definitely go to Ireland, do the Northwest 200. It's supposed to be just as good, but obviously on a smaller scale.
Yep.
I suppose the cheaper version, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
I would like to just go ride it. Like, I'd be happy with that.
Just
I don't have to actually be there for the TT, but I would like to go over just to ride it.
Just to see
that
what
might
it's
be the
over.
only thing you can do this year, if they ever open up, considering they're out of lockdown now. So
they're out of lockdown, but the borders are still shut. You won't get in.
Aye, you won't get in just now, but that might change.
Yeah.
That might change.
Well, I hope that answered Jill's question.
Yep. Next one is for Kevin Milligan. What's your favourite run on the bike if you're going out just for the day? Favourite run?
Trossachs.
Trossachs.
Anywhere in the Trossachs. I love it up there.
Skye and back.
Skye and back. That'd be a bit of a run. That's a good run. Yeah.
Aye. About 450 mile, I think, the last time I did it.
Yep.
That's nippy.
That's a day out.
Aye.
That's a no arse. That's what that is.
Nope. Just a day out. If I go out, I'm not coming back.
It's not a day out if you can feel your arse when you come back.
That could go so many places.
It could go so south.
I know.
Okay, moving on.
Morag. Where's yours, Morag?
Just getting out, to be honest. I can't say that there's one particular place that I have in mind. Just getting out and the sense of freedom,
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
My
aye.
favourite road's Glencoe, so I tend to go loads of runs that involve Glencoe somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know why Glencoe. I just really like Glencoe.
It's the scenery. It's got to be the scenery. It's just captivating.
It's just, I love it. I try as much as possible if I'm going north to try and involve Glencoe in some way there or back.
Mine's is my leg and back. The Fort William to my leg roads for me is just brilliant.
That's a good
And
one.
for me would be Inverary, Glencoe. The way we done it the last time me and Chris done it with Lee.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, we done Glencoe just the 2 years, didn't we? But we incorporated Inverary into it. That was a good day. Then 2 different roads, 2 different ways in. So
we went over to, see when you go through Glencoe, you come to the petrol station, you take a right at the traffic lights, you head to Kinloch Leaving.
Aye, we done that as well. That was good.
That road there, if you're wanting to learn, obviously not used to because you're instructors, you should be pretty good at it. But see if you want to learn getting the knee down or even just getting over a bit on the bike, that's the tightest, twistiest road that I've been on, and you can get onto it. So you can, the Kinloch Leaving, brilliant.
That's where Anna shines.
What?
The twisty
no getting my knee down, no on an adventure bike.
The twisty queen.
Twisty, but I can't even get my knee down. No.
She's never getting that African twin back up. That African twin, you're never getting that back up.
Oh, trust me, there's a button for it.
There's an app for that.
There's an app for it. At that fucking touch screen, I'll have something in there somewhere. Write yourself.
Write yourself.
No. I would really, really like to get out on the bike as to stick my knot in.
I think
that's the reason.
That's
the reason we're doing this. I know we're all the same. I mean, the fact that Chris got out today is just making me angry.
Did you have to wash all the salt off the bike though, Chris?
Nah, honestly, God, the roads are blowing dry down here. The only salty road that I came across was down Ayrtown Centre. That was the worst for some odd reason. But no, it was actually fine. So it was a wee bit of here and there, but not all good. So it was. I just wanted to
covered in it, don't I mean?
Because it was dry and I had stripped the bike all winter. I thought I'll just go and make sure everything's tight and sealed before I go and hoon it about. Come the decent weather. I know it's sitting there ready now. I can just a minute we're out. No bugging about.
Good.
Excellent.
Right, next question. I'll put it up, but I don't think this is any of your areas. But John McAllen Senior, why do insurance companies charge a premium for keeping your bike in a well-locked, alarmed, big wooden shed / workshop, anchored and dislocked, as opposed to a concrete garage? Now, I know there is an issue with this. All right,
it's easier to break into wood.
There's a lot of, not so much in Scotland, but there's an awful lot of thefts that involve, like you go away for the weekend, you lock your bike up in the wooden shed, people go round the back of it and they just remove as much flipping bits of wood as they need to get in. Nobody sees them. So you can't do that. But although I do know somebody that had a breeze block garage and they did the same, they just chipped away the breeze block and they got in the back and still got the bike. But if they want it, they'll get it. But the reason is it's classed as a non-permanent structure. So a non-permanent structure, you're as well keeping it out in your back garden. They're not going to make any difference. And then you've got what area is it, blah, blah, blah. But the wooden sheds is a non-permanent structure. They're too easy to get in.
That's
why they charge you a premium.
With insurance companies, it's the question they ask you if it's a concrete garage. That's one of the questions that every one of them asks you.
Let's face it, it's because they can.
Basically,
and
they will hit you with anything.
Yeah, sometimes with insurance companies, I just think they just go, there's a number, let's fling it at them. If they pay it, they pay it. They don't. I think sometimes.
Well, I don't have anywhere to keep my bike. But when I did keep it here, I don't have a shed. I don't even have a proper garden. I have a wee bit of gravel, and it was kept round the back on the gravel. And now that I'm keeping it somewhere else, because it's a wooden garage, I'm paying more to keep it in a wooden garage. Fair enough, it's 8 miles away from my house. But I'm paying more for that than I was here, sitting out the back with nothing.
Madness. I'm not so bad. My garage is attached to my house.
Aye,
My-
so
See, that's the best ones. If they're actually attached to your property and no another property, so keeping it at somebody else's is a bit of an issue as well.
Aye,
My
like
bike's
to
at
be
work
fair, you live.
garage.
mhm.
Your insurance must be
Nips
quite
getting
low then, if it's at the work garage.
Aye, my insurance isn't bad at all.
That's good. That's good. Well, there
I
you
get
go.
And
I
you-
get my renewal
yours is
through the
at the
day,
house
only went
more,
up
so-
£3. I was quite surprised.
£3.
With the same company, which I'm very surprised.
It went up £3.
Only by £3. I wasn't expecting that. I know how renewals are always the worst deal you can get. It went up £3.
I'd
So-
still Google for a Go Compare and make sure I can get it cheaper.
Nah.
I
Well,
always compare. I didn't go for the first one.
I'm the same. Always compare.
I've kind of picked B Moto, so I'll probably stick with them for the sake of £3. They're dearer than the other companies, I know that, but you get quite a lot with it included. So, just in case we ever do get to another country on the bike, which I doubt, but you never know.
You have been asked to Spain.
I might be retired by then.
Oh, don't say that, man. Unless you're retiring next week. We've been asked to Spain, so as soon as it's possible, there's a possibility we'll go to Spain. Me, Chris, and Scott. So
Good.
We will be.
That'll be
So-
banging.
I didn't hear our invites in there, ladies. Did you hear our invites in there?
We've been asked. It's not our place to
aye,
fight.
we have been invited. We can't then
Aye, but
re-invite people.
see, all I heard was
Ah, but-
we've been asked. I didn't hear them saying we're no going without yous. Because obviously they wouldn't go without us. I mean, Mark said that this is the best night of his life,
Yes, it was.
and we've got to come back for every week. And so, goes
Can you
without
imagine
saying.
having
I
the
think he
three of
said
us for a
every
week solid?
I did. He said that to Chris. Chris confirmed it.
I confirmed it. He said that was the best night of his life when you FaceTimed him the 3 years. He loved it.
See,
He did
what's
say,
no to love?
Oh
he
dear.
did say it was sad that all this was over. Just to
Oh, here we go.
He's got to want to make the three of us a series.
See, we normally do a chippy run to Largs and any night during the week. But he wants to change it and come up near you guys every single week just so he can see you in the flesh.
It's understandable, to be honest. It's
Yeah. Well, it's for
We get
Clair
it.
and Morag.
I get it.
Right, I think we'll swiftly move on to the next question.
Moving on.
Plenty of trouble. Here we go. Andrew, Daniel, do you carry out your own maintenance, repairs, mods? A bit of a stigma around females doing it. More should. I try to get the missus involved with doing stuff to the bikes. There's a wee bit on the end of that where when the missus doesn't want to do it, he explains how he does it and why he does it and stuff like that. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Morag and Clair are more inclined to do bike maintenance
Yeah.
than me. They would.
My bike's brand new, so I don't have to yet, but I definitely will maintain it myself. As for mods on my bike so far, I've done myself, fitted tail tidies and all of that. Doesn't bother me. I'm more than happy to do it. One thing I'd say about getting his wife involved, if she doesn't want to do it, leave her alone. Like, if she wants to do it, she'll do it. Don't mansplain. There's no need for it.
If any's watched last week, his wife is Gillian, and Gillian was on last week, and she's on a 125 at the moment. They've bought her ER6F, and not even. I don't think he's even trying to get her to maintain it. She's wanting to just change bits and bobs, i.e., exhaust, tail tidy. She put on bar ends. He wants her to put on the blanking plates, but I don't think she's bored. But you're right. If she doesn't want to get involved, just let her be.
See, that's it. By all means, if she wants to get involved, explain to her, help her, let her know what she needs to know to be successful. But like Anna was saying, for instance, Anna's more of a, I'll just get somebody else to do it for me because I can't be arsed. There's nothing wrong with that.
I can't be arsed. No.
There's
I
nothing wrong
had
with
a
that
wee
at all,
400 many moons ago, and I used to get made do shit to that. And you scraped all your knuckles and everything and broke all your nails, and I thought, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore. So, no. Get a man that can. They've already got scraped knuckles and dirty nails.
See, that doesn't bother me. I just like fucking about with shit. But I don't know what the stigma is. I think at the end of the day, if a female wants to maintain her own bike, she'll acquire the knowledge that she needs to maintain her own bike. If she doesn't, then leave her the fuck alone.
I'm not mechanically minded at all, but I bought a Hayes manual for my bike, and it just breaks it down to the simplest form that you can't go wrong. And I do everything to my bike now, except from MOT, pretty much. There's nothing I won't do. But come to the car, I'll not touch it. I'll just take it to the garage. But I don't know what to do for the car.
Don't get me wrong, I think if it's something that you're interested in, then why no, go for it. Do you know what I mean? But to be honest, would I give it a go? If I was in the right frame of mind, then yes. Ultimately, do I want to be doing it? No, I'm a bit like Anna. I'd rather just hand it over to somebody.
Well, I did
to
your
be honest,
tidy, didn't I?
Yep, you did. To be honest, my partner's a mechanic, and when I first got my bike, I thought, right, okay, what I'll do is I'll get him to service it. He went, I don't know anything about bikes. I went, listen, it's the same principle. Get on with it. And he did. He turned his hand to it, and he just cracked on with it. So that was it.
The
only way you're good.
When you go?
I was just going to say, the only way you're going to learn is if you crack on about it. That's his forte. I'd rather be doing something else. So
I'll always say, if anybody ever wanting to do it, get a Hayes manual. They break it down to the simplest form, and you can never ever go wrong. They're the best manuals.
They're holy grails. Holy grails. I think every bike should be supplied with one.
100% it should be. But then again, for 15 quid, you can save yourself sitting there with 6 bolts and 4 washers, and they're brilliant.
They are the best, 100%.
I can't swear by them enough.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one covered off? Yep.
Yeah, covered, mate. Next one.
Yes.
Covered.
Easy
Aiden,
peasy.
Charlie. Oh, here we go. Easy peasy. No bother. Word of mouth recommendation is obviously the best way to find a riding school. When you are new, you may not have that option. What would you suggest people look for or ask when inquiring?
Okay, I'll start this one.
A good question.
Right, so if you're looking for a school and you've not got any pals and you that have ridden bikes or can give you a point in the right direction, not that you've not got any pals. That's me, by the way. I've only got these two and they're not really pals. So you want to make sure that what you're paying has everything included. So some schools split things down and they'll have a price, but you've got to add on insurance and you've got to add on your tests. So you want to get in writing exactly what it is, what you're getting for your money, so you don't get caught out. You want to know how many hours you're getting because they're all different. So you might think you're getting a bargain and find out you're only getting 12 hours and the school 5 miles away is giving you 6 other hours, 18 hours, and only taking 50 quid more. So it's not always the cheapest. You've got to see what you're getting and see if there's any hidden expenses. And look at reviews. Everybody's on Facebook now. Look at the reviews.
Yeah.
See what they say. And that's really it. Don't travel miles and miles and miles to get a bike school. That's defeating the purpose, because that's okay if you're only doing a CBT, but if you're going to do lessons, that's a stressful thing. You're stressing yourself out driving miles, getting there tired, to do lessons, to drive back home tired. And especially if you've had a shit lesson, you're just putting stress on yourself. Make it as easy as you can, get somewhere close to you. That's the best advice. And make sure, check what you're getting for your money. Get it in writing. No other phone. In writing.
I
So there's
think
no
for
arguments
me,
about it.
from a student's point of view rather than an instructor's point of view, go in and see them. Like, see if you feel comfortable. If you walk through the door and you're getting dodgy vibes, what's the point?
Mhm.
I want to feel comfortable.
Yeah, they could have the best reviews. She's right. They could have the best reviews. You walk in and you think, no, can't see myself here.
It's just the same as a showroom. You walk into a showroom, and if the salesman are absolute plonkers, then you just
that's it.
walk you out. It's just simple.
Aye.
I walked into a shop in Glasgow when I was doing my CBT because I knew that I was doing my DAS. That's what I'd booked my DAS. So I'd gone in to get a helmet and full suit, kitted out, had the money in my pocket, ready to go. I'd done my research. I knew what I wanted. Walked in. First thing the guy did was talk to me like I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. I couldn't have tell you my arse from my elbow. Just about turned and walked straight back out. I thought, nah, fuck you. I probably could have taught him stuff about the stuff he was selling.
I want to know where now.
It's on a need to know basis.
It is on a need to know basis.
It was a shop in Glasgow Centre.
You know who you are.
Google search. In Glasgow.
Morag, you got anything to add?
No, I think the two of you have really covered that in depth. So, no.
Moving on.
That's that answered. Moving on.
Yes. Next.
We're good at this. We're good at this.
It would be a nightmare with you three, but honestly, it's
professional.
I don't know what gave you that impression.
The video call, maybe.
Still the best night of your life.
No, that's right. Move on.
A song in there. Anyway.
We've not got to the thruple thing yet, though, so.
No, we haven't. Jelly and Hunter.
Stay tuned in.
I know. This question came up. On you go, mate.
Right. So, Jelly and Hunter's question is, what tips have you got for calming nerves on test day? I'll give you a wee, if you haven't seen last week's.
Stay the fuck away from the cones.
Yes.
No drugs. No drugs.
Stay away from the fucking drugs, Jesus.
No, Gillian's nemesis, as you've said, is the cones. 3 times she's failed on touching the cones. So there's obviously a mental block there somewhere, so any advice?
That's a good Yep.
Right, okay, so the cone she's hitting's on the speed avoidance.
Yep. Swerve and avoid,
the most likely reason for hitting, I'm taking it's the near side cone. I have seen people hit the outside cone, but the most common reason for it is that she's looking where the cones are rather than the end point. So you don't actually ever look at the cones. You shouldn't be looking at the cones. You should be looking where they want you to stop. And then that brings you through the cones. So what she's doing is she's looking at the cone and she's failing to avoid it because she's staring at it. She needs to not look at it and look at the stop marker where she has to stop. And that will take her through. As for nerves, there is nothing anybody can do for nerves apart from don't build the test up. If you make it this big deal that you have to get through, and I think somebody last week said don't tell anybody you're doing your test. Keep it to yourself. Do your lessons, do your practice. Just keep telling yourself that the test, you will get it in the end. And as soon as you bring it down off that high level, sing Nelly the Elephant, sing Staying Alive, just sing anything.
Whatever makes you.
It keeps you breathing. Whatever makes you take in oxygen. The more oxygen you get, the less likely you are to go tense. So,
the amount of people we see holding their breaths is mental.
No good.
Mental.
Yeah.
More,
have you got anything?
I think you know, you've just got to go in there and think, right, you know, it's imagine it was your usual instructor isn't on that day, he's got a sick day or she's got a sick day, you've got somebody else, show them what you can do. Do you know what I mean? You've nothing to lose, but everything to gain. And I think you've just got to treat it as though, you know, your usual instructor is off that day for whatever reason, so let's go.
Imagine them naked.
Yeah.
Just treat it as another lesson.
That wouldn't have worked.
Not
Poor
unless
Wilson.
That,
a 25-stone man riding a bike. Maybe know what to think about him naked.
Well, I don't
It
know.
was
Just
calm you doing.
Can me doing that pop up alien run away?
oh dear.
so.
I've got
Aye. So
covered. Yeah. Anybody else want to add it?
Yeah.
Nah,
No.
we did it last week.
Let's get away from imagining people naked. That's just not going to work. So
I know, Claire.
I've got a next question.
Dear.
Next question I couldn't put on this because it's quite a long question, so I'm going to read it out from Facebook. It's for Lorna Parkinson. What is the best tip you can give to a female rider who has only passed her test 2 months before being knocked off at high speed from behind and not been back on since the accident in October due to the weather and is now very nervous? That's for the 3s, by the way.
I'll go with this one.
Yeah, 5s even.
I'll start this one, seeing as I've been knocked off the bike a few times now over the years.
Cool.
She has to get herself out, even if it's for 5 minutes. You hate to get your bum on the bike and you have to go round the block. First time out, round the block. Quiet night, Sunday, when it's dark, whatever. You just widen that circle and go out for longer and longer and longer. There is nothing else you can do. There's no point in planning a great big run because you'll not have the bottle for it. You've got to just take it in wee baby steps. Get on the bike, go round the block, come home. Your brain goes, that was all right, nothing happened. You go again, the next time you go round 2 streets, 3 streets, stay out 10 minutes longer, you come back, your brain goes, that's great, nothing happened. You've got to convince your own brain that nothing's going to happen. That's the best advice I can give. No.
Short
Just
journeys
don't
to go
overthink
with.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
confident.
Short journeys,
I don't know if if that's the only mode of transport that lassie has, or if she's got the bike as well, obviously, as a car or no or whatever. But as Anna says, I would just be looking to force yourself to take the bike to the shop, no the car or whatever, or no getting the bus or no walking. Force yourself to take the bike to the shop. Do it again, short journeys, build it up, and like Anna says, retrain your brain and convince yourself that actually it's no that bad,
All right, it's good. Good advice.
There you go. See, we're good at this.
Only after 2 months of passing our test. That's
It's
unlucky.
harsh.
It's
harsh.
I know this accident. This is quite close to it. I won't go into too much detail. This is quite a close accident to her. But because you're saying also get back on it and go out, would you go out alone or would you take someone out? Because her husband's also
No, go herself. Go herself. Nobody where. Go herself.
What I was going to say is her husband's a biker, but he's a recently passed biker like herself, and so is her friends. So you recommend going out alone?
No, you've got to go. It's your own. It's her own demons. She can't have anybody else. See the mere somebody stands and goes, "It's all right. It's all right. It's all right." The mere she'll freak out.
They become
that, or she'll start to follow them and no think for herself. And she needs to be able to think for herself. So she needs to be empowered and take the power back.
Right. So what I'll also add in is her husband was actually on the ride out when it happened and they were intercomed up. So he heard the screams and the pain and agony that she was in. What's the advice? What would your advice be about
that? For him?
Well, for both, because obviously he's witnessed He's seen everything. He was behind, but he's seen what happened. He's heard her and the pain that she was in. She was quite badly hurt. She was airlifted away from the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So you think as a unit?
I would still say they need to go out separately. They need to get. They can't go out together until they fix each other on their own.
Right.
Putting them together is just putting that same formula back into play. So
it's
he has to
like
go
the blind
on his own.
Blind.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. My partner, he's not passed his test, right? And he wanted to do CBT, and I wouldn't do CBT because it's too close. You kind of need that separation. Now, that's not saying I will never go out on the bike with him, because I will, and we'll have a bit of a laugh and enjoy it. But just from him sort of thinking about doing this, it's too close to home. So I wasn't the right person at that particular point to do that. That's not to say that they will never go out together or enjoy runs or whatever. But she needs to take a wee bit of control back for her. Obviously, whatever you do in life can be dangerous. You could walk out, hit by a bus, whatever, crossing the road. You know, are you going to stop taking risks in anything that you do and stay in the house and wrap yourself in cotton wool? You know, sometimes you can't stop things from happening. Sometimes you can, obviously. And it's really difficult when you're, like when he's obviously witnessed and heard that she's been in a significant amount of pain. By the same token, you know, everything you do in life can be dangerous. So you just kind of just got to get on with it and not think about the consequences like that, or is biking for you?
Yep.
I think as long as they're both focused on how the other one is feeling, they're not actually paying attention to themselves.
No, they need to, that's why they need to be individual.
Learn to be individuals before they can go back into being a couple.
Well, that sounded. I just know what happened there. That's why I thought I would ask, and obviously they're not here, so I thought I'd ask on behalf of him as well, because I can only imagine what went through his mind and what still would go through his mind going out there. So, no, that's sound advice.
Definitely. I'd say that's brilliant advice, good advice, solid advice, and that's what they should do.
Yes.
Get it sorted.
Yep.
Thank you.
Right, next one. This is a good one. John Boyd, what's the best weekend runouts everyone has been on? I've got mine, so do you want me to go first? Or?
You go first.
Well, when I passed my test, the first season, I'd passed 6 months, packed the S-Rad 750 up and went to Teesside and done the summer Solstice Run with another YouTuber. So I was only 6 months past. I was only 6 months into YouTube, no, 4 months into YouTube. And we'd done the run from Liverpool Docks to Whitby. So we watched the sun go down in Whitby. There was 16 bikes. Then we'd done the run during the night to Whitby to watch the sunrise at 4:15 in the morning. Also went to Hemsley, and there was another place we went to where the falls were. It's down in Teesside. The roads were absolutely mint. Went by the Cant Fiddle and all that. That's been the best weekend that run out I've had, like for a full weekend. I went on the Friday.
You did it again?
Oh, absolutely. Aye, I'd absolutely do it again. It was fantastic. The roads were fantastic. Plenty of places to go and see. I'd done, what did I end up doing? 2,000 miles over the weekend. It was a big run. I was only 6 months past on the S-Rad 750. So I loved it. My back was broke when I came back for 2 weeks, mind you. I could barely move for 2 weeks.
Well, you know what they say, no pain, no gain.
That's it, exactly. But that's my best
We've
weekend.
already established if you can still feel your arse at the end of the day, it's not been a good day.
You've not been a run? No. Your bum should be numb.
So that was mine. So who's next?
Chris is next.
My run to Morag, Skye, and back down, made a full weekend it. So played about in Co for a few times, went over into Kinloch Weaving for a few times, played about that road, camped up in Kinloch Weaving for the night, back up, up to Morag, ferry to Morag to Skye, back down the road.
I'd love to go to Skye. I would love to go to Skye. On a bike. So
Very good, Skye. I've been very lucky because it's never rained when I went to Skye. So.
I want to go see the ferry pools in Skye.
Ferry pools.
Right, Anna.
Never seen them. One of the best weekends was one of my friends organised a kind of charity run to Nethy Bridge Hotel, which is up past Aviemore.
Yep.
Her dad used to do that run. He died. She took it on. So there was about 60 bikes for all different areas, and there was quite a few as went for West Lothian, and it was probably the funniest weekend ever. All these great big hairy bikers, they had the karaoke on, and there was two of them got up and did Summer Lovin', which you had to see to believe. These big hairy bikers with their cut-offs and everything on, singing Summer Lovin'. So, and obviously the Tom and Tool Road and Up Bribray Mars are very good runs. So, yeah, that was my best weekend on the bike. Yeah, definitely.
Sounds good.
Claire Bear, you've not been away for the weekend yet, have you?
I've not been away for the weekend yet. No, because I work
No.
all weekend and then I've got to be home for the wee one at school. But I really, 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 really want to do the Penis 287. Like that, I think will be a good weekend. The NC 500, you need more than a weekend to do that, but the Penis 287, I reckon you could smash that out in a weekend.
See, the thing for the NC 500 for me is, see when you hit those single track roads, they frustrate the life out of me. So you can do it within a weekend, because I would just cut them out. I just can't do that. Because you're talking every 200 yards there's pull-in places, and it's just full of caravans. It's not for me.
Wait a minute, what are you saying about caravans? Like
that Penis 287.
They get in my road on a single road.
I'll make sure when I see you on the road, I fucking block it.
You're not missing. His bike's fucking a luminous orange.
That or bright luminous blue. You can't miss them.
I know.
Yeah, Molly, what's yours?
There's been a few. It's difficult to say because there's been a few. But I can't choose.
I name just one then.
Just one. One.
No.
What was the last one you did?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a favourite, but can you name a really good rider that you really enjoy?
Listen, I didn't want to get into the juicy details, right?
Right.
So, no.
One of the weekends, I see.
No, just talk about a weekend in the caravan then, right?
Oh, here we go. No, listen, there's been a few. It's difficult to choose. I'm still thinking about what Mark said, because I think that sounds like a really good weekend to go and do something like that, eh? So, I don't know.
Sorry.
To be fair, I've not done very much in England at all. I did a wee bit of the Lake District. That's about it. I've got
pals in Southport way, so
we
should just go. I'll tell them we're bunking there.
I haven't been down. Well, no, in saying that, I suppose I went because I took the bike to Cardington, so I have.
I'm the same. I've not done much down south. I've just picked bikes up and drove them home. Cause I always buy down south, so I end up getting either the train down, a lift down, and then ride the bike back home. That's as far as me down south is.
Cool.
Moving on then.
Moving on.
There we
This
go.
is so easy, by the way.
Rattling through these.
Right, Paul Davison, do you guys think going from a CBT 125cc to a 1000cc straight away is too big of a jump, and why? What bike would you suggest starting out on after a 125? Ooh.
Well, as a non-instructor, my first was a 600F, F1 as I said earlier on, and I would recommend that bike to the hills as a brilliant first bike learning after 125. Just
Best first bikes, naked bike, got to be the Duke 390, hands down. Then the MT-07.
Oh, definitely.
Potentially the SV 650, because you can get them fared as well. Sports bikes, Ninja 400, Ninja 650, R3. Straight to a liter bike, don't get me wrong. Are there some naturals out there? Yes, but they are very few and far between. There is no fucking need to get a liter bike for your first bike. They're tools that are made for professionals to be driven on track. You, without any experience, didn't need one for hitting about the streets. There's no need for it. You can't learn the fundamentals. Could you imagine doing slow manoeuvres on a liter bike around a car park? There's just no need for it. I think the main reason to buy a liter bike for your first bike is to boost your own ego. As I said, there are some naturals, then fair enough, but it's unnecessary. That's my opinion.
There's a theory where a bike only goes as fast as you twist the throttle, okay? But if you scare yourself on a liter bike and you tense up and you tighten your grip on that liter bike, you're adding 30 or 40 mile an hour to that bike just by tightening your grip, depending on what gear you're in.
First gear.
So unless you are a natural and you've had loads of previous experience on off-road bikes, what you want is a bike that learns you. So you want something you're comfortable on. CCs doesn't really matter, like I said. Or Claire said, the Duke 390, fantastic wee bike.
Phenomenal.
Absolutely brilliant. Learn you loads. Can't go wrong with it. Really can't go wrong with it. But
MT-07, another epic bike.
It depends. What bike to get depends on how tall you are, what your riding style is, how much experience you've got. So it's an open question. We don't know the guy, so I don't know. Has he been on bikes before? Is he 6'6"? Does he weigh 20 stone? It all depends.
He's 6'4". He's about 10 stone, and he's got a 125 cruiser. I know, Paul.
Right. So
probably an MT-07.
Nah. He needs something tall. If he's tall, to be comfortable. You can only learn if you're comfortable. If you sit on a bike and you've got a sore neck and sore
got a good height.
Aye, it's quite tall.
It's got
quite a lot of leg room.
Got good heights. Aye.
Mo, anything to
add? When I passed my test, I actually passed my test when I was 19 on the 125. Right, that's what I passed it on. I waited. I got a GPZ 500. I had it restricted to the 33 brake horse. It was still torquey enough. Did everything what I wanted it to do. That helped me get my 2 years riding experience. Then I de-restricted it. There wasn't much difference. Hated the bike anyway. Went and moved on to something else. But it gave me the 2 years of just, getting some experience under my belt without being tempted to go daft. I don't know the guy. I don't know if he would be tempted to go daft. As Anna says, it was as well. It depends on a lot of factors. How heavy is he? How tall is he? All the rest of it. He'll know whether he's somebody who's going to go nuts or no. So, it comes down to choice.
Well, I know that his bike that he dreams of is a Ducati Duval. That's his dream bike.
See, they weigh the same as a freaking army tank.
Yes, they're so heavy.
They're huge. But then that's probably going to be a bit easier to handle than an R1, for example.
Yeah.
But I personally still wouldn't advise it for a first bike, because you've got to scare yourself shitless and then you're going to be too frightened to learn the fundamentals.
Okay, so ultimately you said as well it was his dream bike. So he's kicking about in a 125. Okay. Once he passes his test, why does he need to fulfill that dream bike and buy it instantly? What's wrong with going and getting something else? You know, especially when potentially mistakes could be made. I'm not saying they will definitely, but they could be
it's getting
made.
dropped.
You know what I mean? Before he goes and takes that step.
Has he done any lessons yet?
I believe not.
Right. He might change his mind as soon as he starts his lessons. Seen it before. They go for a 125, especially a 125 cruiser. They're all very underpowered. They don't scare the living daylights out of you. He'll go on his DAS bike, and sometimes the arse falls out their world. So he might change his mind once he's been transferred onto a DAS bike. He might suddenly realise that a 650
too much on the numbers.
They do. I've seen folk on 250s that in the twisty roads can absolutely wipe the flare with the big bikes.
Look at that.
The only reason a big bike's catching them is on the straights. You get a wee bike on the twisties with a good rider, they're fucking cleaning up. It's not about the horsepower. It's straight lines is where the big bikes catch up. Yeah. A good rider's a good rider. It doesn't really matter.
Just Claire was saying that I know a guy, he's in his late 60s, and he's also an advanced rider, and he's got 9 bikes, but this Duke 390, I've never seen someone keeping up with Fireblades and R1s.
They're phenomenal.
390, hands down, best beginner bike on the planet, hands down.
And when he pulls up, everybody thinks he's on the 1200. And when he pulls up and the wee sticker on it says 390.
I actually think the 390 looks better than the Super Duke.
Yeah, 100%.
Visually. Mind you, I think it's better than the 690 as well. I think the 390 is probably the best looking out the of them. But hands down, best beginner bike on the planet.
I can see you swap a Honda for a KTM.
Too wee now. I'm too used to big bikes. I'd feel like I was riding a Grom.
I like my KTMs, but I've had time to move on.
Well, that's a good answer for Paul.
Aye, that's definitely. This next one's for Tracy Mitchell. It's too big to put along the screen there, so...
this is the cornering in gear one.
Yes.
The what?
The cornering in gears.
Cornering in gears.
Yes, I've got a question for the instructors. It wasn't until I had a couple of advanced lessons that was either pointed out to me or I asked the question about what gear you should be in for different types of road. I had been riding in too high a gear for country roads, and the difference in my confidence and riding totally changed when I realised this. Not to mention my hand, as I was changing gear as much. I would think that's quite important for a number of reasons, but it doesn't seem to be taught in lessons. Is there a reason for that?
We actually covered this
Morag, do you want
last night, didn't we?
No, on you go.
Okay, so it is actually a lesson. I don't know where she was taught, but it is a separate lesson. You learn to be in the correct gear for whatever you're approaching. You learn counter steering, you learn vanishing points. We do teach all this. So the only thing is she passed her test and she didn't get picked up for being in the wrong gear. The only thing I can think of is that the bike she was on when she did her lessons and the road she did for the twisty section for her test was the bike was in the right gear and doing the right speed at the time. She's probably changed the bike now since she's passed her test, and the bike that she's got now is differently geared. So it's been a habit she's got into, but it should have been taught. It is a separate lesson. It is definitely a lesson.
I can vouch for it. I
they
did
look
my
for it.
lessons a year ago, and I did it. I covered it in my lessons. So
I'll jump in. Maybe it's an Ayrshire thing. I was never taught it.
but you sat your
It
lesson
is, but-
16 years ago, did you say?
It is now a separate lesson. They have to teach it.
Yeah, well,
They never used to.
yeah, but Tracy have been passed years and years ago also.
Is she?
Yeah.
Well, there
All
you
right.
go.
But it is taught. It's been taught for the last maybe, I don't know, how long have you been back, Mo? 3 years, 4 years? But 6, 7 years. It's definitely been a separate lesson because we have lesson plans where the DVSA want us to do lessons including certain things, and everybody has to cover them before you put them in for tests. So it is a separate lesson: vanishing points, counter steering, and the gears for cornering. So it should have been taught.
She's passed more than that, so maybe that's where the mix up is there.
I can vouch.
Yeah, and then every bike's different as well, because we've got the CB650Rs, and to be honest, that bike will pull they'll pull for any gear.
Aye.
It's very difficult to know when a student's in the wrong gear. They'd have to be going like 20 mile an hour in fifth for you to go, wait a minute, because it copes. Honestly, it pulls for any gear.
They're also really good beginner bikes.
Very difficult.
Well, we were talking about them.
Yeah. Well, they've got their own racing class now as well, CB650s.
That's what David's got.
650R.
I like them, but they give me a numb bum for some reason. I get pins and needles within an hour of being on it and can't ride
They've
it
got funny
anymore.
ridges. The seats have got funny ridges.
So there's
the only one I can ride is the low seat. The low seat one's all right. It's not got the ridges on the seat. I can ride that one. I didn't
shaved.
get circulation.
That's definitely comfier. It is comfier. But no, the ones with the ridges, they are uncomfortable after a wee while.
Yeah, then you recommend that as a good first bike?
CB650R.
Yeah, they are. They are a good bike. If it's somebody that's, I don't know, we've had really tall guys on them. They seem to be pretty comfortable. But if it's somebody that's not had lads. If it's somebody that's not had a lot of experience and wants a forgiving bike, it's very forgiving. Very, very forgiving. Yeah. It's got the traction control, it's got the ABS, it's very light, it's got quite wide bars. It's
plus
it's very forgiving. Takes a drop.
They're nice to look at. They're nice to look at.
They take a drop as well. CB500's a mega bike as well. I like the C.
I like that.
See, used to love that.
I think it's brilliant. Absolutely love it.
I love it.
My brother-in-law was a scooter boy for like 19 years, and that's what he went. He went for a Vespa 250, and he went to the 500R, and now he's got 650R. I've had a shot of both. There's nothing
in the 500Fs that we've
got.
No,
there's nothing in it. The 500 and the 650, there's very little in it.
Very little in it. They're smaller.
I think they're so skinny, but I don't know if it's because the Zed's quite a wide bike, and so is the Blade. Whereas these things are so skinny, I feel like you're sitting on a wee 125 again. But they're torquey enough.
It's the CB500Fs that we've got.
Actually go round and sit in somebody's 125, and then you'll think, it's near that skinny.
They're all skinny compared to the adventure bikes, so.
Aye. That's true. That's very true.
The tank on that Africa Twin's ridiculous.
It's weirder than the DL.
It's ridiculous.
No, I think it's weirder than the DL.
No, it's madness. So wide.
Right, next, Mark.
This next one's a question for Claire. Two questions. What's good value helmet and setup? That would be whether it be textile, leather, and boots, helmet, gloves, and whether it's going to be leather or textile. It hasn't specified. And in your opinion, on what would be the best helmet regardless of cost? So we're looking at value, and then we're looking at the best setup regardless of cost. And that can be textile or leather again. in terms of
Right.
the. So whatever you think.
If you're talking sort of budget friendly, helmet wise, you can't really go wrong with the AGVK one.
Okay.
Good helmet. A lot of people like them. Graphics are epic, and you're talking about the £100 mark with that. As for setup, you need a pin lock. I don't care if you're paying £100 for a helmet or £1,000 for a helmet. Once you've had a pin lock, you'll never buy a lid that is not pin lock ready. Another thing to take into account when you're buying your first helmet is drop-down sunnies. The wee drop-down visors. They come in super handy. It's just one of those things that you don't really think about until you've had a helmet with a drop-down, and then it's difficult to go back to one now to buy. Budget friendly, you're talking the AGVK one. That's probably about £100-ish mark. Next step up, about the 200, 250 mark, probably the Scorpion XO 1400 carbon. They're good helmets. They're nice to look at. Again, it's got all your bits and bobs that you're needing. Come pin lock ready. One thing to take into account, if it doesn't come with a pin lock, you're anything between 30 and 70 quid for a pin lock, depending on what sort of helmet you've got. Bit higher, you're sort of 300, 400 mark. The Shoei GTR2, hands down. That's what I ride with. I've still to find a better helmet that suits me personally. I love them. And for your sort of top of range helmet, probably your Shoei X Spirit 3. You're talking anything between 500 and 800 quid for them. The aerodynamics on them are incomparable. They're phenomenal, but they're race helmets. Do you really need it for hitting about the street? No. Do they look super cool? Hell yeah. As for clothes, if you're starting out, it depends what sort of riding you do, really. If you're sort of bobbing in and out of work, hitting about at the weekends just for a bit of fun, textiles. We live in Scotland. It pishes down 95% of the time. They tend to be a bit cheaper than leathers as well. Your sort of budget ones. Textile jacket. RST, they've brought a newer one out this year, 21. It's called the S1. That's a lovely looking jacket. It's quite sporty looking, but it's not got a big race hump, but it's still obviously waterproof. You're talking maybe about 100 quid for that, 120 quid, so it's really, really reasonable priced. If it's sort of street riding, if you're like the wee cafe riders, Spada Grid. Spada do a lot of sort of really good budget textiles. Last well, good armour, waterproof, got all the zips and bits and bobs that you're needing. Females, again, your sort of Spada, they do brilliant sort of budget friendly textiles. The RST, they do a line called the Gemma. That's a bit more expensive than the sort of Spada stuff, but that's nice. If you're talking for a more expensive textile, if money's no option, Halversons all the way. Halversons, 100%, hands down. Most comfortable, softest, most versatile, gorgeous textiles, but you're talking 500 quid for a jacket and 350, 400 quid for a pair of trousers. So it's definitely a bit more of a splurge, but it's good. As for leathers, sort of budget-friendly leathers, RST again. I mean, RST really are good bang for the buck. You can't really go wrong for them. The only downside of RST is their women's range isn't very good. Like their women's range really, really lacks. For women's leathers, Dainese, 100%. They do a women's suit called the Assen. That's not too bad. I think you're about the 550, 600 mark for it, so it's quite budget friendly in the scheme of suits. As for more expensive suits, the ladies, the Hild Ayana 2, beautiful suit, but you're hitting more £900,000. Same for the guys. I mean, Dainese, you can't really go wrong with a Dainese suit. They go right the way up to whatever price you want. Boots, it kind of depends, because obviously you've got sort of sports boots, touring boots, your casual boots, like your sort of casual everyday bobbing about into work, waterproof. Your Ayrshire slicks, wouldn't look by them, comfortable. Their ankle boots might not be everybody's flavour, but for the price of them, I think they're 65 quid, completely waterproof, comfortable, they last forever. Touring boots, your CD Adventure 2, that's a banging boot. You're talking maybe 250-ish for that. Your sport boot, Alpenstars for sports. RST do a couple of really good ones as well that are a lot more budget friendly. It's really awkward because it's, how long's a piece of string? Yeah. Like, the first thing I would ask somebody is, what sort of riding do you do? What is the most important thing for you? If the most important thing is looking cool, you're going to buy a showy helmet and a Dainese suit and a pair of bloody Ayrshire sports boots, or your Alpine Stars. I mean, they look banging. If you're dressing for practicality because you want to be warm and dry and safe, Spada do that best. As for gloves, my favourite winter glove is the Spada Junction. It's like 30 quid. I use them in the winter. I don't like big chunky gloves, so they're still waterproof and warm without being super chunky. As for summer gloves, you can't go wrong with a wee RST Stunt 3 textile leather mix. Wee wrist glove, lovely to look at, comfortable, versatile, come in 100 different colours. It's a really, really open question. There are so many variations, and it would all kind of depend on the specific person.
Yep. That was a good rundown, but
she knows her stuff.
She certainly does.
Listen, for anything that Claire doesn't know, it's no worth knowing.
Aye, I've got that.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far, but I like my helmet.
Eh?
You what? Sorry.
Anna, textile or leather?
Textile.
Claire, textile leather?
Textile.
Mo?
Same.
Textile.
Mark?
Textile.
Fucking, I'm not the leather cunt out as well then.
Yep.
Mr. Vane there up in the corner.
It's practicalities for work.
Tell me,
you just can't wear the leathers. It's just that.
Aye. Do you wear, did you wear leather the day?
Yes.
Anything underneath it?
Freezing.
In this weather.
All I ever go out with is Under Armour t-shirt, Under Armour bottoms, and my leather suit. And then my...
Only one of you were freezing.
But I always ride that.
Exactly.
Hail, rain or snow, I'll always ride like that.
I'm warmer than... about being cold then?
No, I wasn't. My hands were cold, that was it. But I work outside, so it doesn't really bother me too much. I'm warmer in a one-piece suit than I am in textiles or a two-piece.
I'm away for a top-up.
That's just my personal thing. The minute I bought a one-piece suit, I've never went back.
It is a personal preference thing at the end of the day. It is a personal preference, but one pieces are no my jam. If I'm getting leather, it's got to be a two-piece.
I had a one-piece once.
Sexy.
I bought the Telefonica one-piece leather when I had the GSXR. This is a true story. And I got as far as Tin Drum and needed the toilet.
That's the thing.
Out myself, right? Got to Tin Drum, ran into the ladies because I was bursting, and then got one. Couldn't get the sleeve out. Couldn't get the sleeve out.
See,
I got it to here and I was stuck.
For a guy.
Yes.
A guy doesn't have to completely derobe to take a slash. A woman does.
So
Aye.
I had to run outside and go to somebody, pull the sleeve,
Pull the sleeve.
pull the sleeve. That was it, end of. No.
I don't have that problem. I don't need to take it off for a pee.
And I'm not being funny, but see by the time you get a one-piece on and you manage to get the zip up past your tits, that's a fucking challenge getting back into that. Like,
you're over it. You're over it by then.
That isn't happening really easy.
I don't have that problem again. I'm quite lucky.
Well, it's they don't make leathers for boobs. Is the best way to put it. They don't. Nobody does.
Yeah,
you missed that, Mark.
They don't make them. You did. Wow. You missed. You just missed it.
It was like when I used to
ride
the crossing show. You couldn't get chest plates either for women. Like
they don't make
chest plate on it, just stood out like that, and I thought, well, it's fucking useless, isn't it?
No, you still can't get chest plates because after my accident, I was adamant I wasn't going back on a bike unless I got one, and I tried everything. And there was a guy in one of the bike shops. Used to be at Easterhouse. I can't remember the name of it now. He tried everywhere to get a flipping
women's chest plate. You just can't get them.
No,
can't get them.
No, didn't work. So I gave up. Went back on bikes anyway without one. No, they don't make them.
Mark, have you actually ever had leathers? I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever seen you with leathers actually.
I've got leather trousers and Alpine Stars jacket, mate. I just never wear it.
Right.
I don't wear it.
See, if you really want to piss people off, I discovered when you wear leathers, again, when I got rid of the one-piece Telefonica leathers, I bought the two-piece Telefonica leathers, and then I bought an R1200 GS. Couldn't afford textiles. So still had my Telefonica leathers, and I was trying to get miles on the bike to get its first service, and I went up to Oban, and I parked it in Oban and went to get a cup of coffee and come back, and there was these two BMW guys at the GS, and I just kind of sat on the seawall, and there was a wee woman there with her husband, and she's gone, these two guys are fucking hysterical. They've walked around your bike because it was brand new, and they went, oh, that's a man's bike, that's a proper man's bike. She's we see you getting off it, so go out and just tell them that it's your bike. So I goes there, puts the keys in the ignition, and they look me up and down, they're like, is this yours? I went, but you've got leathers on. But they're Suzuki leathers. I went, that's all cool. But you need a BMW suit. I went, I can't afford a BMW suit. But you've got the bike now, so you need the suit. I went, no, it goes fine with me with this on. It's still going.
I didn't need anything.
I didn't need it. Trust me, I drove here, it's fine. They got really upset with that. They didn't like it.
My favourite, is that your boyfriend's bike? Is that your husband's bike? Fuck off.
My favourite is the people that have to match their gear to their bike. That's my favourite.
Oh man, Dinny, that
See,
does
I just
man
go
not
with
in.
black everything.
So did I get my helmet?
No, there's me and Scott know a boy who's got an MT7, and his full gear matches his bike. So he's got the fluorescent yellow helmet and the jacket and the boots. Then again, I know a boy who's got an Aprilia and he's got all the same gear. That's so funny.
What about wee Lee?
Lee, he's got a white MT07 with the red, and his leathers are white and red. His helmet's white and red.
He's got white leathers, by the way. A suit.
He just looks like a fucking...
Oh, no.
He just
exactly.
No, didn't bash the white suit. RST do a white suit, and it's absolutely fucking stunning.
Aye, but you look like Dick. You just look like an abominable snowman.
That's putting it politely.
Correct.
Each to their own.
That's it.
Right. No, there's nothing next. I've got rapid fire questions, which I'm not going to ask at the moment. So, it's open.
It's open.
Right. Well, we had this, obviously we had a discussion last night and making sure we were all working. We've got a side stand story, Claire.
Yes.
Oh, it's not my story, it's Anna's story.
No, it's my story. And I did say it's a boring story. It's an unbelievable story. And it's probably one of the most traumatic days of my fucking life. So I had to, and I hate to say this,
Students.
females.
No,
No,
just
no, it is important. No, it's important that we're females. So I had 2 females in for CBT. None of them ever been on a bike before. And I knew they were going to be troubled, okay, because they talked over the top of me constantly. Didn't listen at all. Did not listen. Even in the classroom, they weren't listening. So anyway, we eventually get out to the yard, and it took me ages to do the controls because of the questions, but we got to the side stand, right? So literally the side stand usually takes 10 seconds to teach. Okay, you literally tell them, cover the front brake, straighten the bike up. Obviously you've come off it. Cover the front brake, kick the stand all the way to the front, lean the bike onto it, turn the steering. That's it, right? Never had any problems with that. I've never had anybody unable to do that. 2 of them. 40 minutes. 40 minutes to teach the side stand. The centre stand, I was dreading it. I thought, I'm going to get to a centre stand. It's going to take me, it was around 40 minutes in total, but 40 minutes to teach a side stand. They couldn't get
40 minutes for a side
40
stand.
minutes. Claire was looking out the window going, what is happening here? What are we doing? Side stand.
I'm
doing it for
still
ages,
in
yep,
complete
still
disbelief.
doing it.
I was
Never
there
seen
and I was
anything
waiting
like
for
this.
Jeremy Beadle to jump out with a freaking video camera. 40 minutes for a side stand.
Well,
They couldn't. They just couldn't get it. They just didn't. They didn't know where to put their hands. I showed them. This is the front brake. Cover the front brake. Kick the stand. Turn the steering. They had to steer the wrong way. They had to stand half down. I had to stand at that side of the bike because they didn't even kick it forward, and the bike was going to fall. Oh, man. I needed alcohol that day.
I can imagine.
And lots of it.
Lots of it. We have lots of days like that. We do have lots of days like that, but that I did honestly think it was a setup. I thought some bastards fucking paid these 2 and said, go and wind her up, see how her temper goes, because I don't shout
40
at
minutes
people,
on a side
but
stand, took it.
I have a tendency to get a bit grumpy at times, and they tested me. I had to go in and scream. I think I went to the kitchen and screamed, and then went back out and went, right, girls, come on, we're going to try this again. Let's see what we can do.
Because the thing is, you're not allowed to move on unless you can actually do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't go any further. You've got to go through each section. You've got to tick the box. And I thought, I've never in my life, I've been doing this 20 odd years, and I've never got to somebody that couldn't do the fucking side stand. And I had 2.
Side stand, 40 minutes. I'll never get over that.
Nuts.
I don't think I'll ever
Nuts.
get over it.
No.
Yeah. And you 2 want to learn to be instructors. Welcome.
Well, aye.
I wouldn't have patience for it. I definitely don't.
I would. I'd be
I
fine.
would walk away
Oh,
from it.
you have.
You say you'd be fine.
I had somebody, and Morag, I think, had somebody the week later, and this doesn't happen that often either, where I had spent, they'd actually got up to almost the end where we were doing junctions, and then took a brain fart and couldn't remember what way the throttle went. Couldn't remember after 5 hours what way the throttle went.
Jeez.
She sat there looking at it going, I says, what is it? What way does the throttle go again? I'm like, seriously? I think you need a break. You're the one you sent him. Aye.
Though
Couldn't remember what way the throttle went.
They'll ask Anna about the guy when she turned around and asked him to do something. He went, yeah, listen, I'll get to that in my own good time.
Well,
Oh dear.
You get some chickies.
I don't have patience for showing people things. If they don't get it within the first thing, I just couldn't.
No, that's in my job every day, so I could definitely do it.
No, you have to. You literally could not or wouldn't believe the things that people will ask and the things that they cannot do. Here you
Find
go.
the one that fell over at the traffic lights because they forgot to put their foot down when they stopped.
Well, I was going to say this. I've seen this because I went out with a boy who had just got his CBT and he did V125. I can't remember. It was a wee Honda 125, and he thought he was the bees and E's, and he's riding along. And we went through Kilmarnock Main Street and came to a set of lights. And to the right hand side there was a car, 2 or 3 girls in it, and you could see them all down. And he thought it was the bees and E's, and he just rolled up to the lights and he's looking, he's smiling. Well, he was telling me he was sitting there nodding, smiling, and forgot to put his foot down and went. I stole my bike because I'm trying to jump off my bike and run over to him and grab his bike and pick his bike up, and the stitches in my, honest to God, one of the experiences in my life I've ever been on a bike was watching somebody just topple straight over because he thought it was so cool with a car of girls. Hilarious.
Like, surely you get to a certain point and think,
He was too busy focused on the car of girls.
I'm fine here. Put your foot down.
I've done it.
That one's baffled me.
I've done it.
Just toppled over.
I did it on my KTM. I did it on my KTM 990. I was actually working with Morag years and years ago, and I pulled. I was thinking loads of stuff was going through my mind. I had my own business at the time, so loads of stuff was going through my mind, and I did a U-turn in front of where I kept the bikes, and I was still thinking, and I stopped, and it just went. I'm like, why is my bike falling? I went, beep. It was an adventure bike, so it was a waste of time. But I did pick it up with temper, basically.
The only thing I ever done was I parked on a hill and with a pothole next to me, and I was too busy talking to the other rider. And put the stand down, jumped off, and as I jumped off, I turned around and the bike just went down it went. Too busy talking to the other rider.
I've never done that, but I can only touch a tippy toe on the floor if my right foot's on the back brake. Like, I can't even flat foot with my left foot. It's just a tippy toe. And I'd stopped at lights and went to put my left foot down, and there was a pothole. So, of course, I couldn't reach the floor. But, I mean, I just shimmied forwards a bit, so nothing mega happened. But aye, they're just toppling over. It does. It tickles me. It tickles me.
So funny. The only problem, I never had a camera on it at the time, and I fucking wish I had it now because it was one of the funniest moments I've ever been on my bike.
I'm considering ordering a GoPro just for the sake of some of the shit that you must see.
Well, I had somebody follow me in the car, and then they had the music up and they were blaring, and I'm on the bike and we were at the traffic lights. I jumped off the bike and started doing the shuffle, and I've got it on camera. Stuff like that. Mark's got me riding in the back seat and whatever and standing out. I did the daft stuff for footage for him.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of it, and I most of our videos actually, especially when it's just us two. It's easier
Me
to
and
look
Mo
at.
went up to where did we go? Wait, Calendar, wasn't it, Mo? When we went to Calendar, and every time we stopped, she either hit my kill switch or fucked my keys out the bike.
I love doing that.
And like the pair of us
was up
were
to Calendar.
Absolutely buckled to the point we could hardly move.
I couldn't actually move. It was when you were raging at me for doing it and went to take the keys out the bike. I couldn't even stop you for laughing.
But the people behind us that day must have had some laughs because we were dancing away. But the kill switch, I will never, ever, ever sit to the left of Mo again. Ever.
I do it all the time, my brother-in-law, because he doesn't have an exhaust, so his is the standard 650, so it's so quiet. So you're sitting chatting away to him, and then I'll just reach over and he's not looking and press it, and then I'll zoom away and he's...
You've done it to me, Vance, as well.
My bike's broke.
So you can't be trusted either?
No.
No.
I do it in a bike
Hooliganism.
camp. I go round all the bikes that are packed up and hit the kill switches to see what numpty can start their bike when they come back.
Yeah.
Great.
She also pits obviously just our bikes that, like, I don't think you would do it to a stranger, Anna, but you can go about your bike and it could be in 4th gear, it could be in 6th gear, it could be
flashers
anywhere.
on, indicators
You've got no
on,
fucking
high
idea
beam
what
on.
gear it's in. High beams, indicators, kill switch, the fucking lot.
Mirrors folded it. Oh, you've got to.
Aye, the lot.
Compulsory.
She messes with it all.
Oh,
It's
unbelievable.
compulsory.
Absolutely.
I've got a question for you regarding
Fire.
the instructor thing. What's down training or compared to any instructor training?
Morag, do you want to go?
When you train down, or you're trained down by somebody?
Morag, Morag will tell you.
Okay, so if you're interested in becoming an instructor, you've had your license for longer than 3 years, obviously you can come along, somebody will give you the training, and then when you have reached a certain standard, they will sign you off to say that you are down trained. If you're looking to take it further, so you're looking to train somebody, then you have to go on to Cardington. Once you sit your assessment at Cardington, then that's you qualified CBT. Once you do that, then you can go and you can sit your exam for doing your DAS, and then that's you fully qualified. If you've been to Cardington, you can obviously train people. If you've not been to Cardington and you're solely down trained, you're not allowed to train somebody.
So what would be the purpose of down train?
No, you can train
you
learners,
can do
you can't train another
CBTs.
instructor.
You couldn't train another instructor.
So for talking's sake, you're down trained. Claire wants to become an instructor. You can't teach Claire to deliver a CBT. She can only listen.
Right.
But for example, if you'd been to Cardington, then you could teach Claire to deliver a CBT.
Right.
Down trained can only teach CBTs. You need your full dash training to be able to do Mod 1 lessons, Mod 2 lessons.
So it's more a kind of introduction into whether you'd be interested in going further.
So,
no, there's loads of people that be CBT instructors for years. They'll never ever go any further. They're quite happy in that zone. That's all they ever want to do is just teach CBTs. So you can just stay down training. You still get check tested. They still come and check your work. You'll get supervised by your head instructor, wherever that is. The route to being a down trained instructor would be either find a school that trains you for nothing, but they will want you to work for them, or you can pay for it. So the biggest one in Scotland's ProScot. You can go and get trained there. You pay the money. Or you can do some of the courses down south. The ones down south, like Phoenix, don't use real students though. So you pay for your course. I think it's about $3,000. You do the training, and it means you've got the certificate and you can go and work somewhere. But you're not using real pupils. The best one you can get is get a school that lets you work with real pupils, because learning it for a book does not show you how to cope with the attitude of some people. You're actually a psychiatrist. You have to be a psychiatrist. You have to work out if they think too much, if they're nervous, if they are tired. Because some folk will come off a night shift and no tell you. And you go, were you working last night? Well, you really shouldn't be doing this because you can't put the effort in. You can tell
You can't
tired.
predict what they're going to ask either.
Oh, flaming heck, no, you can't.
See, no, there's no 2 days that are the same. And, you know, as much as somebody comes along for they want to do a manual 125 CBT, right? Sometimes it's just no for them. And you've got to say to them. And they're like, no, I can do this. And you're like, look, you know, you have to think about all your options. Look at the scooter. And, you know, once they've gone on the scooter, they've just excelled. Do you know what I mean?
Most people do a CBT only to do a CBT. It's no, you're moving on to bigger bikes is not the high end of the market. No, most people come because they need to get to work. The youngsters do it because their mum and dad's fed up running them about. Other folk do it. The worst scenario is you get them in, we always ask them, so why do you want to learn to do a CBT? And the answer you dread is, I'm going, I tried car lessons and I couldn't do it. because see, if they can't do car lessons, you just know you're going to have trouble.
Aye,
Mhm.
aye, absolutely.
I tried car lessons and I can't do it. That and the one that goes, well, my boyfriend's got a bike, so I thought it would be good if I could do it. No.
Exactly.
No.
Mhm.
No.
Or my dad. My dad has one, and
Do you think the people that go into just doing the CBTs, they do it because they only 9 times out of 10 it only be for one day. They've got a set pupil and they're always changing. And it's just quicker and easier, and they don't have maybe the patience for the likes of yourself with direct access and whatever.
No. The CBT is the hardest thing you will ever teach. DAS is a doddle compared to CBT.
Because you've just
Mod
got
1 is Mod 1 and DAS, absolutely night and day compared to a CBT. The CBT is the hardest thing you'll ever do. You're taking somebody that's never sat on a bike, and the DVSA recommend it's a one-day course, and you're trying to teach them to ride a bike in one day.
and not
it's
everybody.
the hardest thing you'll ever do.
And not everybody will do it in one day. Some people will take longer. Some people will do it in one day and some people won't. But some of the stuff that you've seen for doing CBT, it is hard. Do you know what I mean? You go home tired. My partner, when he came back from doing the CBT, he said, do you know what? I am no longer going to take the mick out of you. I feel really tired. So I get why you're tired, because you're doing the teaching. When you're out on the road, you're looking ahead, you're making assessments, you're watching what they're doing, you're watching what's behind, you know, the whole thinking about the routes, the whole shebang. So
it's not an easy shift. A CBT,
nah.
I would rather go in and do a day of DAS. For me, I like doing CBTs, but if you want an easy day, you want the DAS. If somebody says you've got a choice, you want to do DAS or CBT, I'd go, I'll do DAS. I'll do the DAS stuff. The CBTs can be a laugh, but they're a hard shift. Shift. You've got to love bikes and you've got to love people. And well, that's not true. I don't love people. I like taking somebody that doesn't know something and making
people. Not so much.
I like seeing them being able to ride. But
the progress.
Criers. We didn't like criers.
No,
criers.
No, definitely
people
not.
Cry.
Oh.
You're very good with the criers.
Your turn.
No, we can't deal with them. I have been known to say if you're crying, you can't see the road, so biking's no for you. Crying's no good. That's men as well. Men cry.
Oh, aye.
Usually if they've been with Morag and she's gave them what fuck. She made an old guy who wouldn't do what it was tell. Go and tell them about him. Go on. Got him as far as road ride. Go on.
The one that was the lorry.
What age was he?
The one that was the lorry driver.
The lorry driver.
With the brogues that was doing it with his grandson.
Oh, him. Oh, right. Okay. I can't mention names, right? So we'll call him Mr. X. Okay, because I obviously can't mention names. So Mr. X. Mr. X decided that he was doing a CBT with his grandson. Of course, he turned up with the suit and the brogues. Can't do a CBT with brogues. He couldn't understand this. You know, where's your safety gear? You're with your grandson. Surely you want to lead by example. No, he wasn't interested in any of that. At one stage, it was when you'd asked him to do something. Yes, I'll get to that in my own good time. Like that. Anyway, so we got him sorted with stuff, and his grandson had to go and get this pair of boots. Anyway, he got this pair of boots, so the Mr. X would put them on. That was fine. So we did the yard stuff, got him ready for road assessment, went out to the road assessment. 3 times he struggled to follow instruction. 3 times. So the first time I pulled him into the side, I says, right, that's your warning. Second time you do that again, I have to speak to you, then that'll be it. So did the same thing again, went off in a tangent. So I pulled him into the side of the road and I says to him, I'm really sorry, but your road assessment's over. All right. So I'm going to be phoning the company to bring down transport and transport you and this bike back to the yard, where you will sit and think about your behaviour. All right. And if you do not reconsider and think about some of the choices that you have made, then I can assure you, you will be going no further. When I get back, okay, because at the moment your grandson, all right, who really wants to do this, is being penalised because you're not following instruction and I can't trust you. So I'm going to focus on his CBT and get it done. Once I come back, you need to think about your attitude and certainly change it, because see, if it isn't changing it, I won't take you out. If you change your attitude, then I may consider taking you out. So you go away and think about that. Oh, please, I'm sorry. No, too late, too bad. Your grandson here wants to get on with CBT. You had your chance. Told you, one chance, that's it, game over. Obviously, when I continued with his grandson said, well said, by the way. So even he knew his granda was a bit of a shit. So gets back up after doing his grandson, right? So I says to him, have you thought about what I've said to you? Do you understand the consequences? Are you ready to change your attitude? Like that. Obviously.
He was in his 60s. He was an old dude, and he was worse than a teenager.
I thought he was nearly 70, to be honest with you.
I think he was 68 or something, wasn't he? He was old.
Maybe that's what he was. So he was older. To this very day, we have seen him out riding. He desperately wanted to do manual. So we tried our hardest. We got him through it, but it was tough. Realistically, he'd have been better sticking with the scooter, the twist and go. Anyway, he has a twist and go. He learnt the manual. He's still out in his twist and go with the suit and the brogues. Nothing's changed there. And probably not even doing his lifesavers. I mean, cutting people up and all the rest of it. But that was it. So,
Excellent.
Just when you're talking about Sydney rules, what is your thoughts on people who don't? All they do is go out with a safety helmet on. They don't go out with textiles, leathers. When you see them, the warm weather, they're out with a pair of shorts on and a pair of fucking flip-flops.
What's your thoughts on it?
Slide, no for the ride.
I have never in my life been out on my bike without my one-piece suit on or my two-piece suit on when I had it.
What?
Never.
Why not?
Because it just common fucking sense.
Well, there you go.
Just want to know.
There you go.
It is common sense, but these ones are the ones who go, oh, but I ken what I'm doing. They've never had an accident. They've never came off, because see, if you had and you realised how much skin you lose and how much it hurts, you wouldn't go out with shorts and flip-flops and fucking just a helmet on.
They've clearly never witnessed road rash.
No, you just wouldn't do it.
On my site, there's a boy last year bought a house and he's got an S1000 RR. Sunny day, I had brought the bike to work. I had my one-piece suit on going to work. Happened to see him leaving, and he's leaving in a vest, a pair of shorts, pair of trainers, and a helmet. And when he came back, I purposely went over to him and went, "Mate, what the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "What?" And I was saying to him, and he's like, but I was only nipping down to the shop. And I was like, but that time I nipping down to the shop's the time you get smashed by an idiot in a car.
You're right. It's most likely to happen in a wee short run. Yep.
Right.
See, to be honest, for somebody to do that, I think to myself, well, selfishly, I hope it does, because then maybe they'll think twice about it in the future.
When I see them ride by me, the first thing I think to myself is, I hope you come off that with your own stupidity.
Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't like anybody to be seriously injured, but by the same token, I think, you know, a hard lesson to learn, but one they would learn.
I don't know about you, but I see it all the time down in Ayrshire. You're down beside the beach and people think, well, you just jump on your bike with your t-shirt and your shorts on and nip out on the beach a ride.
That's the ego thing again, though, isn't it? They're doing it because they think it looks cool.
I'd much rather
all
have
the
a
wrong reasons
and be safe.
Thing is, though, like nowadays, you see the riding jeans and the riding leggings and you get riding hoodies. Like, you can get protective gear that's fully armoured that looks casual. It doesn't look like a textile jacket. It's no neon. It's no fluorescent. It's no leathers. Like, you look like you're just wearing a hoodie and a pair of jeans. Like, there's no excuse.
I've got riding jeans, and I don't think I probably wore them a handful of times.
But if you want that look,
yes, it's there.
You have riding jeans. Like, I've got riding leggings, but they're fully Kevlar and they're completely armoured all the way around. Like, you'd have to be daft. You'd have to be daft. All you need to do is Google road rash.
I know. I've seen
Google it.
It's not a pretty sight. But my only other one is there's a wee video that obviously you showed us last night. I need to show everybody else. This 3-up.
Well, if I showed you the video, I'd have to kill you.
That's true.
But what I can do...
The story behind it first, right?
Yes, there is a story behind it.
Anna was convinced, absolutely hell-bent convinced, that she was taller than Morag.
By the way, can I just add to this? Anna and I, all right, go back a number of years, okay? So we have worked together on and off over the years, all right? Years.
So how tall are these?
Anyway, on you go, Anna.
No, it's not my story.
Claire?
I'm 5'4".
Well, I'll tell the story. It wasn't my story.
Yes.
Yeah,
go on, Claire.
She was hell bent that she was taller than Morag, but they finally measured
She's a fucking
themselves. They finally measured themselves, and
we
did.
By the way, we did that at the college.
We had an independent adjudicator.
But anyway, we did it again.
Morag
Sorry.
is actually taller. So Anna had to have a forfeit, and Anna's worst nightmare is being pillion on her own bike.
There's a story behind that as well, but no, I do not like being pillion on my own bike.
We decided that another instructor that we know would ride Anna's bike and Anna would go pillion, but she was also selling the bike. This was the V-Strom Dow. She was also selling it like the week after, I think it was, wasn't it? A few days after.
It was up for sale at the time, yeah.
And our other instructor had said, have you ever had 3-up on that? I reckon you'd get 3-up on it. So it turned into the forfeit was actually 3-up with Anna on the very, very, very back of her own bike.
Basically on the rack.
Being sold
on the rack.
a couple of days later.
That's
nice.
Basically my poor V-Strom. My very poor V-Strom.
Look at the face.
I know.
She's holding on for grim death.
I've nowhere to put my feet.
Look at her, she's holding on for grim death.
Right, wait at that picture there, right? I'm in the middle. When Anna first got on the back of this bike, she grabbed what she thought was, I don't know what she thought she was grabbing, but it definitely it wasn't anybody's shoulders, it was my nipples. So the first thing when we
tell me, Anna,
bike,
did you feel it right tit?
Anna, You've got my nipples. Get off my nipples. Because I wasn't actually riding this day. That's why I wasn't wearing protective gear. They were like, come on, get your fucking helmet. You're going in the middle. So I just whacked my helmet on. That's why I didn't have the whole shit and caboodle on. But she grabbed my nipple. But that was an experience, that 3-up at one point.
But we did a figure 8. We did a slalom and a figure 8, which I thought was pretty damn good.
Yes.
Until we accelerated and you nearly went.
Oh, and I nearly rolled off the back. Yes, that wasn't pleasant. No,
we couldn't stand for laughing.
I don't like being pillion on my own bike. Most definitely do not.
You're pillion.
However, just wait until we get the Starship Enterprise out. We'll see if we can get 4-up.
It's not got a rack though. It's only got a back seat.
You didn't need a rack. We'd get one on the tank.
One in the tank, the rider, 2 behind. Easy.
Size of that fucking tank on that Decepticon though, you'd probably get 2 on the tank.
We'll have a go.
Right, you all heard it.
Yep. It's going to go on YouTube. We'll all have a go.
The 5-up, let's do it.
5 on a bike.
The 5.
I reckon you could, by the way, if the first one was facing back the way.
Aye, that's what I was trying to say the day that we did 3-up. We could have got more on that bike as well. Easy.
We could have. I was selling it though.
That would have been funny. Well, it wouldn't have been
I did
funny,
I did an exceptional job of tarting that bike up before it got sold.
Can we tell them
it needed a bit of attention.
Story about the screen?
Oh yeah, my screen. So when I was tarting this bike up, it had a few issues, this bike, because it was only 6 weeks old, and at the time where I kept it, the guy tried to do me a favour and washed it with alloy wheel cleaner. So it was it stripped all the metals. What a frigging mess. Well, there was nothing I could do. I couldn't do anything about it. So it suffered a bit and looked a bit tatty, but hell, I didn't care what to do with it anyway. And for some reason, my screen, when I was selling it, I was tarting it up. I made a really good job of it, by the way. You would never have guessed. Which would all washed off with a power washer. So the company that bought it probably didn't like me very much. But anyway.
Swiftly moving on.
Yeah, swiftly moving on. The screen was like fogged. It was horrendous. And I tried
really cloudy,
everything to try and get this flipping cleaned. I was there for ages. I tried glass cleaner. We
spent a good couple of hours trying to sort that screen. We must have done, it must have been a good couple of hours. Inside, outside, everything you can imagine.
And it just got worse. Do you want to know what fixed it? Our friend, who is also an instructor, male instructor, said, "What are you doing?" Says, "This screen, I can't get it. I don't know what's up with it. It's all fogged." Spat on it.
Oh, he never licked it.
Spat on it. Well, same thing. He licked the screen,
it walked up,
and it worked.
Crystal clear.
It worked.
Must have been some taste in his gob after that.
Well, we said that he needed to stop drinking as much.
But yeah, so we spat on it and cleaned it. It worked.
Brilliant.
I don't know why.
He just came up and licked it. Crystal clear. Human and impressed at the same time. Yep.
Whatever's in his tongue, I don't know. But yeah, it was horrendous to get, but it went, So thank Christ. Excellent. Oh, you would not get the black plastic bits on it because of the alloy wheel cleaner were fogged grey. There was so I used black boot polish. I used a silver pen to touch up all the corroded fasteners. Black boot polish. What else did I use on it? There was something else I used on it. Oh, back to black. Yep. So it looked stunning, but as soon as you washed it, it would all come.
Never buy a bike off of Anna, by the way.
Clearly.
No.
This was a company as well.
It was a company. I won't tell you which one, but it's a very popular one. And they came to examine the bike, and the guy, I kid you not, he's very efficient. Like, he had a torch out, and I was like, well, my fork seals were about to go. It was all corroded. It had corroded the forks, but it was inside. So unless you shone a torch in, you wouldn't see. But anyway, he come with a torch, and I'm like, oh fuck. So I was running backwards and forwards, getting him cups of coffee, trying to distract him every time he got this torch out. And then he went, right, deal's done. Here's your money. I'm like, yes. And watched him pull it into the van and went, oh dear. So I did see it advertised 2 weeks later for £200 less than I sold it.
Oof.
That's because they
obviously got it down there and they washed it.
They watched it and checked the forks.
I went, fuck!
Well, that's what the deal was, wasn't it, Anna? You either replaced the forks on the V-Strum, or you bought this Africa Twin.
Yep. The V-Strum forks are £300 a side, and then you've got fitting, and then you've got and I thought, it's 4-year-old. Do I want to keep it any longer to spend that kind of money on it? And the answer was no, because I kept looking at Africa Twins, and everybody kept saying, Africa Twins too big for you. Africa Twins too big for you. So I bought one anyway.
So that's a stubborn side on you.
Aye, that's good. That's a good attitude to have. Definitely.
That's how I ended up with the 1200 GS, to be fair. I went a bike run, and it was when the GSs were just coming out, and I had the GSXR 600, and all these big 6-foot guys had these GSs and were like, well, you can't have one. How no? You're too wee. Oh, really? Okay.
Decided to prove them
Like,
wrong.
watch me.
No.
Well, I tried everywhere to get a test ride. They wouldn't even give me a test ride because they had this thing that you had to be 5'8", and I explained to them, but you could be 5'8" with like 28-inch legs. So how does that work? But
You could
Dundee,
also be 5'8" with
BMW.
absolutely no experience.
Well, yeah. Dundee phoned them, and they said, fantastic, we'll put a low seat on and we'll wind the suspension down. There you go.
Sorted.
I basically bought one just to go look and see what I've got. You big guys that said I couldn't have one. I've got one.
I love it.
So yeah, that's
I mind
basically
putting
what I
my
got.
brother's. My brother was convinced that I could. He's got a GS 1200. He was like, "No, you can't get that off the floor." I was like, "I fucking can. It's all about technique, no strength." He was like, "No, no way." I was like, "I'm telling you, I'll get that off the floor." So laid it down. I was no moving until I got that off the floor. But I got that off the floor, all right.
You should be able to pick up a
when
bike.
somebody says you can't do it.
Oh, you will.
Fucking watch me, aye.
Determination.
Oh, yes,
I was just saying there, Chris, that's just over 2 hours, mate. It looks like it's still recording, but don't want to chance my luck on it. So we'll just kill it there now. We've missed, who was it, Duncan's quickfire questions. But you can answer them in the comments on the actual Facebook group.
Well,
Either that or if it's quickfire, just chuck them out now and it's just one word answers.
Because he made it so long, it's in different things, and it'll be a pain today.
Unless we just do a part 2.
Nice try.
See, now it's turned into the best night of your life as well.
Yeah, he wants
Honest
us
to
back.
God. Don't know why you're so obsessed with us, by the way.
It's not exactly as if they haven't anything to talk about, these three.
I know.
Oh no, we can talk. We can talk.
What is it they say?
You were warned. I don't know how many times you've got to say it. You were warned.
Yep.
So you can always
You've got, for a start, you've got 2 Aberdonians and Clair, and Bear can talk. So
2 Aberdonians and me.
2 Aberdonians. 2 Aberdonians and I love a puddling.
Cool. Aye, exactly.
She can talk.
Yep, she can.
Yeah, she can.
I'm the quiet one as well.
No,
I like how you said that with a straight face.
I know, because we all know that's a lie.
Mo's been the quietest.
Aye, definitely.
Aye, don't know what's wrong with her.
She's not usually that quiet. You're
No,
not usually this quiet. You know you're not.
She made a good one cry
Back your eyelid.
on more than one occasion. She's definitely no quiet or shy.
No.
I said,
Well, maybe we do
I've
need
just
a
not
part
had
two.
enough drink.
see, I said this last night. Mo was a quiet one, and I've been proved right tonight.
Aye,
Anyway, I'm wrong.
that's it.
We'll get her out her shell, but she's no the quiet one, trust me.
Wait till it's
I'm the
not
quiet one.
recording.
Right, so instead of taking a chance that this cuts us off halfway through something, we'll just we'll kill it just now. So, anybody get any kind of last anything they want to say? Last
It's been a
request.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Last request. Before you die, get your last request in.
Before you die,
Ride
make
safe,
sure
everyone.
you and sell it.
Mo, you getting to that?
Have fun.
No, just
That's been you all night, but isn't it? Right, Anna.
What?
listen. Revenge is sweet.
Revenge is sweet.
I don't know if you know, but you ever heard about us talking about Mark? We refer him to Mr. Burns for The Simpsons. He's a
Are you
fucking
going to do this in every one?
every guest we get.
Mhm.
He wants to spit in Mr. Burns.
Excellent.
What was that?
That's what
You ever
Mr.
watch-
Burns does.
So we did a poll on our page.
Ah, here we
Like,
go.
names to name his bike, and what one was Smithers. So his bike's now called Smithers.
What bike do you actually
love
have?
Yamaha FZ1N 2010. So naked bike, 1000cc.
Mhm.
Is it
We
the other
are.
one? Is the other guy that's no here? Scott, is it? Is it him?
Yeah.
Has he got the MT09?
10,
MT10,
Ah, right, okay.
MT10 in orange.
which is lovely.
Because I like the 09 as well. I like the MT09 as well.
See, I always feel if you're getting 9, you was already buying a 10. I think that with everything though.
Probably for the
See,
price
but
difference.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I prefer the look of the MT09 to the 10. I do like the lights on the MT10. The
No.
MT10. The MT10.
I hate the
Personally.
I hate the rear guard on the 9. No, it's where it's like halfway down the back tyre. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
can
see,
we
but I
tell
quite
tidy?
like that. That's like
Colours.
that's the classic Diavo thing, isn't it?
Aye, well, I don't like the Ducatis. I only like the Ducatis to look at.
Right, stop talking. We're going to end this. Fuck's
Eh?
sake.
But our relationship is now over.
I know this is the last.
Hasta la vista.
see, 10 minutes after this is finished, he's all getting blocked.
Oh, no.
Aye, right. 10 minutes after this is finished, you're going to miss us that much. You're going to be back on the Facebook Messenger,
10 minutes after
sliding
this.
right into your DMs.
10 minutes after this recording, we'll still be sitting here in the lobby.
I know. I need to go and walk the dogs anyway, so I'm going to have to definitely go. But aye, the lobby can still continue.
Well, I'm not doing nothing anyway.
Cool. Right, so we're going to sign off. Everybody said their Cheerios. Yep.
Yes.
Chris? Yep.
Peace out.
See you live stream next Saturday. Zedhead and Jim, who is from the UK but stuck out in Spain due to COVID.
Which is a good place to
That
be
must
stuck.
be
considering they
devastating.
can
Aye.
get their
I know.
bikes.
He must be fucking heartbroken.
The only downside, he doesn't have his bike and he can't hire a bike. I think that's the only downside to him.
Aye, we'll find
Oh.
out. We'll find out.
You could
next
steal a
Saturday.
bike.
Aye, you could. Aye.
Listen, just to be in the weather is better than the snow that we're getting away in the wind. So
So that's it. We're in this shitey weather and we've not got bikes anyway.
I hope.
Can't use them. I've got one, I just haven't used
Aye,
it.
well, we've got bikes, we just can't get out on them.
I did.
So,
You want to repeat that again? I didn't hear what you said.
Say that again.
Eh?
Did you
Sorry,
get on
did
your
you say
bike?
something? Did you even say
Did he say something
something?
about going out? No, I didn't think
I
so.
don't know.
I think he said he was out.
No.
I think he said he was out on his bike or something. I don't know.
And tomorrow.
Aye, was it running?
right,
Push
so on
bike,
that
Morag.
note, on that
Bye.
before you start. If you've got any other questions for Anna, Mo, or Claire, stick them in the comments, obviously, of this video once it goes on YouTube. I'm quite sure they'll be able to answer the questions for you. But from me, from Chris, from Anna, from Mo, and Claire, we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.
Peace out.
Bye.